Are we ready to go here? Are we going to do these things?
Let's. I feel good.
Let me just check my eyelids first for chlamydia.
He got eyelid chlamydia.
John's checking his eyelids for chlamydia.
Hey, man. Welcome to the big bad broadcast, dude.
From at Dan Molson at TikTok.
You ever take a nap so good that you thought you missed the school bus, but it's Saturday and you're 50?
Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast, and we have music and we're happy.
Yay!
And we got a great show for you today. We have the effervescent, lovely Mike Grief.
Wow, you just made my nipples hard. Yeah. I'm effervescent.
And we have the highest paid guy on the show, the guy who does everything, Craig Mitchell.
Worth every penny.
I'm here, I'm queer, and I just woke up.
Is it any different than if you weren't queer, that you just woke up?
No, that'd be I'm here, I'm straight, and I masturbate. I don't know, man. I don't know if it'd be any different.
And hey, I'm John Ferrantino, and how did I get mixed up in this mess?
I don't know, man. Bad luck. Bad luck. Hey, better than being mixed up on that submarine. That's
It was several phone calls, John. Several phone calls.
I mean, I have my own take on that submarine.
Hey, can you guys lend me some money, man? I want to take a submarine down to the Titanic.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea anymore.
I got a rant on this for a second, okay?
You think it's not safe?
Incoming rant by
safe?
John Ferrantino.
Come on.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, John
Okay, first of all, they get in this submarine that's a submergible. It's not even a submarine. That is the size, they say, of a minivan. There's no seats, no lights.
Wait.
No heat.
Minivan,
No
a Geo Metro.
What do you mean?
Now,
They're
say
not
inside
standing that whole time, are they?
Yes,
That's
they have to.
insane.
There's no seats. There's no temperature control. They have to wear heavy
$250,000
clothes.
a ticket. I'm fucking
Right.
sitting.
And they're going to go down 2 miles, take their life in their hands to look out a window. Look at the freaking pictures.
Yeah.
Look at the video. I don't get it. I just don't understand.
Well,
This one
John,
guy went.
People going to the moon. People go to. I think it's been done so many
Yeah,
times.
but they get out at the moon. They don't get out here.
They get out at the moon. They get out. They have a cup of coffee on the moon, stretch their legs, and they go back.
They don't get out on that submersible is so small. Richie Minervini had very little room to perform.
There you go. He was the entertainer on the Welcome to the Submersible.
Okay, so then the other part of this
I'm
thing,
Richie. Welcome
the
to the
other part of
Submersible.
this thing is the entire submarine is controlled with a remote, like from a TV.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know that.
But I'm holding one right
but
now. It's a PlayStation 3.
The problem could be very much that they lost the remote in the dark.
Maybe. No, but honestly, let's say
how many times you lose your TV remote?
John Cameron has gone down to the Titanic multiple times. I mean, it's usually
John Cameron Swayze?
It's not
John Cameron
not
James
John Cameron. James Cameron, the guy who directed. He's a freak about Titanic and all that and underwater.
He's gay for Titanic.
I'm sure that these people had not even the slightest thought that this was a danger because it's been done 1,000 times.
Well, a couple of corrections.
No.
It's not a TV remote control. It's one like I'm holding here. This is a remote control for a PlayStation 4. This is what they use, not a TV remote. So a TV remote would make too much sense.
Yeah.
They say that all it had was a control that went forward, backwards, left, and right.
Right.
And there was another button that electronically.
What do you want, man? You want to do flips?
Right.
It's like that's my sex life.
There was another control.
No, that's just go down.
That dropped the ballast.
Don't get personal.
Right. Drop the ballast. Sorry, John, go ahead.
There was another button that dropped the ballast electronically. So, which I think they should have thought that over because if you lose electricity, that's it.
John, were they using cobblestones? Were they using cobblestones for ballast?
Yes, they use cobblestones that they go off the streets.
The callback.
I know, but listen, the bottom line is now they're saying that they think it may have imploded an hour and a half down into the mission, which in a way would be better off than sitting there wondering whether you were going to die in the dark, freezing your ass off.
Oh, that would definitely be better.
And then the other thing too is which really kind of made me laugh, which is so wrong to laugh at.
Why would you laugh?
But they said, well, listen, because they're saying that it's freezing. It's dark.
Yeah.
You can't stand up. There's no seats.
It's
But
like
in
hanging
order,
out with
wait,
Paris Hilton.
but in order to conserve energy and oxygen, you just had to be calm.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
when you
because that's a situation you're going to remain calm in.
You know, all I think of is the old show, The Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. You know, and I mean, every episode there was a giant squid or an octopus that used to almost swallow the sea view, and the sea view was a giant sub. So those guys must have got fucked.
There you go.
Seriously.
Well,
Come
John,
on.
you have to stay calm. I mean, didn't you see Apollo 13? Those guys were freaking in the same thing. Listen, you might as well be in outer space, being 2.5 miles under the water. It's the same kind of a thing. You're alone. Nobody's coming to get you, although they did try to get these people. And you have to stay calm. The people who, I would say, now I don't know this for a fact, but I'm thinking there's some training that goes with going down to the.
Oh yeah. One guy was a mountain climber, adventurer, and the guy who invented the submarine was actually on board.
Right. Well,
So-
that's karma.
The guy
That's
who
how-
invented it was on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they say that that's a good thing because he knows every inch of the
Oh,
submarine.
you know what
and-
fucking happened then. He
Yeah.
went, hey guys, I invented this.
Yeah.
Watch this. And
Watch
that was
this.
the end.
We're fucked. You see that little crack in the window there?
One guy, you know, I know there was a billionaire. I know. It sounds like Gilligan's Island. There was a
And his
billionaire.
wife,
There was a
yeah.
19-year-old.
And a professor.
There was a 19-year-old too. That's
His son.
that
It was a
fucking
guy and it was
sucks.
a guy and his son.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So I mean, it's a horrible story.
And
Actually,
when you're 19, you hate your dad anyway. So imagine. Thanks a lot, Dad, for getting
Yeah.
me killed on my birthday.
I mean, there's nothing really funny about it, but it's just it's a horrible story. But it's just wow.
But you know what? But you want to know something? This is kind of the way I feel, and it's like these people that die on Mount Everest, people that get lost. We search them forever. It's like they know what they were getting
Yes.
into when they
Yes,
did it.
I
So
agree.
it's not like Joe Blow goes, "Hey, you know,
You can't
we're
make
gonna
it.
do
It's
this
not
with
right to make fun of them. You know,
No, I'm not making fun of them at
No.
all, but I'm saying it's like they knew the risks before.
I'm sure
did.
they have to sign it. Just like for surgery, you have to sign a thing that if the doctor like leaves a utensil in your asshole, you know, you won't sue him. But
No, that's you
Pencil,
never
a
sign that. That's what
spoon,
you
a
get.
fork, a utensil.
That's what you get sued for.
There's a steak
No.
knife in my ass.
But
Doc.
any,
What are you doing?
if you've ever had surgery, which I know John has had a few, I've had a few. I'm guessing Craig has had. They have that talk with you always beforehand that you know you could die and you got to sign like you're not like you know. I love it. They come and pressure you at like your week. But anyway, I'm sure to go on a submersible going down to the Titanic, you have to sign something that says the possibility exists that you
There's
could
a waiver.
But I
die on
don't.
this.
I'm dead serious. I don't understand the point of going on this thing.
So wait a minute. So
An
before
adventure.
before
What's
you
the adventure? What's the adventure? You're gonna see better. It's like going to a football game. Yeah, you go to the football game and it's fun, but you actually see better when you watch it on TV.
John, would you like to rather watch a porno or get laid? That's the difference. It's like you're there. It's just better. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm not saying I would go on a submersible.
These
but
people want to
I
see
love
history.
exactly. I love facts about
But
say the
yes.
Titanic.
I don't know.
If I was younger and had the balls, who knows? I might have gone on the.
You know, John,
I'm also claustrophobic. So
John Cameron Swayze, as we mentioned before, he went down there and he took 4D film of the whole wreck of the Titanic. You can watch it in the 2-hour documentary. That's all I need to see.
That's my point.
I don't need to be
Yes.
fucking next to it.
I agree. But the point, some people like to actually experience it. And I
Listen.
don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I'm not the right guy to talk about this because I used to get claustrophobia on the one at Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten claustrophobic on sound stages, which are huge buildings, you know. So, but anyway,
I can't think of. I guess in my mind, I can't think of anything worse of not being able to stand up, being in a cold, dark
Yeah.
thing with
Well, no.
5 people running out of oxygen at the bottom of the ocean 2 miles down. To
well,
me,
that's the reason
just,
I wouldn't even go. I can't sit down. I'm going 2.5 miles down. I can't sit. I paid $250,000.
you can sit, you can't stand.
Oh, you can sit. You said there were no seats.
There's no seats. You'd have to sit on the bottom of the sun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, even that. What am I? Freaking 12 years old? No. It's
I
come
know,
on.
exactly.
It's Titanic time. Everyone sit down. No, it's not happening.
Oh,
At least on the,
and
at
there's
least
no
on the,
light down there. If the lights in the sub fail, which of course, I mean, they don't even know if it got down that far. You would see nothing because it's so dark down there.
You can see glowfish, man. There's glowfish.
at least on the
What?
Disney ride, there were seats.
You've never heard of the fish? What do you call it? That fish that have an internal.
Oh yeah, man. Did you see the ones
glowing
with the little
system.
antenna, the little
Yeah.
lantern that hangs over their mouth?
Yeah, it's their fishing rod. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, I actually, I don't think I'm just gonna sit and stammer the rest of the show.
You know what I find interesting? Like I said, there are animals like whales can dive to. I don't know how deep whales can dive, but way more pressure than a human could possibly take. They dive down, hold their breath for like an hour or two, dive down to a mile or whatever it is, and then they can take that pressure down there and come back up. I mean, that's an amazing thing. That's something that's, I mean, I'm sure they are studying it to see how they can apply some of that technology to your modern day people here.
I'm pretty good under pressure, but I think I would get squashed like
David Bowie was good under pressure. Under pressure.
So was Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, pressure.
Yeah. Let's name all the pressure songs. Go ahead, John, your turn. Oh, he's on his phone again.
Oh,
I'm shit. I am doing the research. The deepest recorded
doing our fact checking.
The deepest dive by a whale was just under 3,000 meters.
But enough about Chris Christie.
Now wait,
thank you. I'm here all week.
Meters. 1 meter is like 3 feet, right?
Yeah.
So you said 3,000 meters. That's 9,000 feet, which I don't know. What is that here now?
2 miles. It's
2 miles.
Almost.
So
2
that's
miles.
almost as deep as this submersible. A whale can dive down there. So now if we had trained whales, a trained whale could have saved these people. Flipper's uncle could have saved these people.
Flipper's uncle. Do you know there are 4 flippers, by the way?
No,
one of them was a male, the other was a female.
There's only 2 flippers, one on each side.
No, there was four
flippers. Who's on first? I don't know. Second, third base. Hey,
So,
do you know that whales can dive for 4 hours without coming up for air?
Isn't it amazing? They can hold their friggin' breath for. Is that just
they would be
capacity?
great. They would be great in porn.
That's amazing.
Or as old Chris Rush used to say, it's like whale has a dick the size of a telephone pole. So if you're ever, and this is Chris Rush's joke, it's not my joke. He said, so if you're ever in the ocean and you're swimming around and you see a whale and you hear, chances are though I wear a, get out of the water because you'll die like a finger puppet.
Well, bees have a penis that is it a bee that their penis explodes when they have an orgasm?
Oh, I gotta look that up now.
Come on. Bee? That can't be real. Come on,
a bee's penis explodes when it has an orgasm.
Wow, that's just
all I'm saying is there better be dinner first. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
how cruel is that? How cruel is that? Now you know that's why bees are into tantric sex.
Yeah, this feels great.
Tantric is like you don't finish tantric. That's why it's like bees are hey, are you in the mood? Not really, honey. Not really.
Not really. I want to keep what I got for a while. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you got to be real special for me to blow this shit up.
I'm gonna say a virgin for a while.
Yeah, you don't want to blow. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's just. I don't know. I read a lot of random things.
The animal. Yeah, obviously, fucking bee penis is blowing up. Where the fuck did you read that?
By the way, somebody's microphone is stuttering.
Is it? Who's it? Is that? I know mine sounds a little weird in my ear right now.
Well, anyway, people, if you're listening, you hear a stuttering microphone. That's not us. It's probably our.
Okay, when male bees or drones die from shock, such as being too hot, they convulse, forcing them to ejaculate. An internal penis equivalent about the size of a bee's own abdomen exists in their body.
Holy shit.
We know that after 6 hours at 42 degrees Celsius, 50% of drones will die of heat stress. They have the same temperature. So where is that? Bees are exploding, ejaculating to death.
Well,
I'm glad the show has found its level.
I'm glad that's the way to go.
I said to Google, can you show me bees exploding? And it came back. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Show me bees exploding.
Yeah. Google's like,
We want to
"Fuck
save
you."
the bees.
How do we stop bees from exploding?
How do we stop? We tape them. You put a little tape around their body.
Yeah, tape them up. You just tape those bees up.
Is bees exploding a big problem? I don't think so. I think Craig just fucking made that shit up. You know, because
Somebody's penis
otherwise
explodes.
you would see exploded bees all over the place anytime. You know what I mean?
Somebody's penis explodes. I'm telling you, it just
somebody's
boom.
penis explodes.
Bees. It just says it. Bees.
No.
It is bees.
I think
Okay.
you read that. I think you read that in the Feminists Journal somewhere. You know.
This was the Boston.
Exploding penises is a future of.
This
Oh
is
man,
the
if that really happened, if our penises exploded on orgasm, I would have been penisless at the age of 11.
This is UBC. That's so funny. UBC.
UBC.
UBC explode.
You know, instead of Viagra, it'd be somebody invent their, non-explosive penis medicine, whatever. Anyway, let's move on.
Wow, I'm glad we're at a whole new level.
Did you guys hear? I read this as like a friggin' the Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk gonna have a cage fight.
What?
You didn't?
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
But I did hear something really fucked up. That on Twitter, Elon Musk has made the word cisgender a slur. So if you actually type in cisgender, you can get suspended.
Now, without sounding stupid, I forget all the time. What the hell does cis stand for again?
Cisgender means you're naturally born of one sex. Like if you identify only as a straight male or maybe just a male.
What is cis? What does cis stand for? It's CIS, right?
I don't know, man. It just means John's on the phone again, right?
No,
John?
I'm not.
No, he's not. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't want to get involved in this.
Hold on. Let me ask Alexa. Hold on, Alexa. What does cisgender mean?
As an adjective, cisgender is usually defined as noting or relating to a person whose gender identity corresponds with that person's biological sex assigned at birth.
Okay.
It's like living with Spock.
I don't get any of this stuff. It's like, you know what I mean? I like whatever it is. It's
you guys heard that? That was loud enough to be heard?
Yeah, we heard it. We heard
So
it.
Yeah, I mean, so now that is a slur. If you call someone cisgender.
Yeah, from now on, you're in charge of up since you're last big guy.
Okay. Well, so Elon Musk says that if you type that in, if you call somebody or say cisgender, you can get suspended off Twitter.
Well, who listens to what that fucking moron says?
Who
anyway?
goes on Twitter anymore?
Listen, here's a guy that's so successful, is everything in the world. Then he goes and he buys Twitter for how many billions of fucking dollars, and there was a joke because I don't think
44 billion.
I don't think he ever actually intended to buy it, but then they then his ego took over. He had to buy it. He lost a fortune.
He bought it to let Trump back on.
Yeah, and it was such a stupid move that people got so angry that even Tesla, the stock on Tesla fell, which was almost an impossible thing to do. Tesla was kicking ass. They still kick ass, but it's like,
oh, let me tell you something. I have a Tesla dealership on Merritt Island. And
it's the John Ferrantino Tesla dealership?
No, for years, it's like if you wanted a Tesla, you went in there and you filled out the thing online, and then they had it imported to, that dealership. And that's the way most of them worked. I went by the other day. There's got to be 250 cars on the lot.
So they're not moving.
They're not moving at all. And they're reducing the prices.
Yeah, well, that's not what they want you to think. They want you to think they'll lie and say they're moving. Oh, you can't. You got to order it back ordered.
But I did read this article the other day that the first Tesla that came out was this sports car. And it was $1 million.
Hey, John, your mic is kind of funky.
Really?
It's doing something weird.
Is it better?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So it says that if you bought that Tesla for $1 million, right? If you bought that for $1 million and also spent $1 million in stock when you bought that car.
Yeah.
Today, between the car and the stock, it would be worth $37 million.
Yeah. Listen, hey,
in 8 years,
if you were smart enough to invest in things like Apple or I have a friend whose daughter worked for Amazon before Amazon became, when they were, Amazon started out as books, and like they started out in a warehouse, a garage, whatever. And when they started to expand and whatever, they gave them the employees stock, and then those stocks split and whatever. I mean, the first employees of Amazon are all freaking multi-millionaires. You know,
All right, is that better on my mic?
Yeah, you sound good.
You sound smooth, man.
I have it still set for when Mike was here. That was the problem. I never switched it back.
You never switched it back.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Southern California, Los Angeles, and that basically it means, I think, in a different language, Teslas everywhere. I mean, you can't spit without hitting a Tesla out here, and I don't think there's any real Tesla hate, except for the people who aren't driving them. I do have the urge to knock them off the road sometimes, because I find people who drive Teslas out here mostly pretty obnoxious. They just are.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I mean, I would love to have a friggin' electric car. Who the hell wants to spend money on gas? But first of all, they're expensive. Like John's son just bought an electric car. And the car he has sounds like something. The reason why I didn't want to invest in any of it is because you can only go a certain distance with an electric car, and then before you have to recharge. Now, your son's car, that thing goes like 350 miles, right?
350.
That's acceptable.
What kind of car did he get? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, he got a Hyundai Ioniq.
Oh, the Ioniq 5?
Yeah, $62,000.
I didn't know that was a Hyundai.
See, now 350 miles isn't acceptable. And then as long as there's enough charging stations wherever you're going so that you can, recharge, that's reasonable, because that's what you get out of a tank of gas.
That's optimal, though. That's optimal range. It doesn't take into account having your air conditioning on or having your heater
Probably
on.
Not.
Air
and
conditioning doesn't affect electric car.
How could it not affect an electric car?
Because it doesn't affect.
Because I know that
as you're driving, the generator that would normally be takes care of all of that.
Yeah, because when you buy a car,
that's good.
What people don't realize is I live in elevation. So when they say your car gets this certain amount of miles, when I'm coming up the hill, up these mountains to get home, it uses a lot more gas than it was if you're driving flat. So if you're getting 30 miles a gallon flat, you're getting, 20 when you're going up.
Yeah, when I drive in your direction on the 14, I see my miles per gallon always start to go down because I'm on an incline. Yes, absolutely true. Something else about Teslas you may not know. I mean, they're not very gaudy inside. They have one screen that has everything on it, and there's also a button. And if you press it, your penis explodes.
Yeah, so that's what I heard.
I just want to go full circle with that.
And explodes and bees come out.
Exactly, and then bees flying. You're like, bees everywhere.
Bees everywhere.
I tell you, Teslas have a lot of power. I think I think each wheel has a coordinated separate engine.
It depends which one you buy.
Well, I was in one when I went to the Hollywood Bowl when I took an Uber, and I asked the guy the stupidest question. I'm sitting in the back seat, and I go, I've never been in the Uber before. Is this powerful? And he stepped on the gas, and I swear to God, all 300 pounds of me almost shot out the back window. That thing.
That's another reason why people buy them, because you can't deny the technology. I mean, Elon Musk, I don't think he has anything to do with the technology except financing it, but they do. Tesla is probably one of the best, if not the best.
I'm pretty sure Elon Musk just says, "Oh, you want to put that in it? Yeah, go ahead." I think that's all he does. Oh, that would be super cool. Put that in too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Who's the one that put that car in space?
He did.
Tesla. Yeah.
Now there's a whole big thing that they think.
What's wrong with people? I mean, you know what?
Why now they think that there's a whole thing now that he killed somebody and put the body in the trunk. I'm serious. People are so fucking crazy.
Dude,
everything's a conspiracy.
We are spinning out of control. It's just like there is a conspiracy theory about everything. Everything.
Yeah, that's I don't listen to shit. I don't give a damn. It's like, you know what, man? I know the truth. I'm the only one that knows.
What's that Q theory that Joe Biden is actually dead? That's actually an actor, and actually Trump is running the country.
Actually, they say there's several actors. There's several actors playing Joe Biden,
including Jim Carrey.
So if Trump is really the president, and that's just an actor, and Trump is really the president, why are they bitching about the state of the country? Isn't Trump doing a great job then? Because I mean, like,
because Trump has to make it look bad, so people have a bad impression of what would be Biden's administration.
Wow, that is so deep. These people are really on the ball here. They're smart.
So I did some more research to see if find out the Ioniq 5. They say the recommended mileage is 303 miles. It delivers 225 horsepower. It goes from 0 to 60 in under 7 seconds.
It goes from 0 to 60.
That's about
average.
That's pretty good, though.
Yeah, man. So you lied to us, John.
You
lied to us.
Well, you know, I the first day I had my hybrid.
That's the same speed as a Corvette.
The first day I had a hybrid, I had this rich guy get in my car. And he goes, you know, you really should get a Tesla. I would go, well, he goes, oh yeah, so much better than driving this hybrid car. Well, it turns out that if the absolute top of the line Tesla, if you spend like $200,000, has a range of about 320 miles. That's the optimum range.
Right.
My car has a range of 550. But the thing is, when I drive, because I do rideshare part-time because I'm just crazy, I average.
Greg finds it interesting to meet different, diverse people.
I like to find different, and I like people threatening my life with knives. It's always fun.
Hey, how many times do I have to fucking apologize, man? Shut the fuck up or I'll stab you.
Okay. So the Tesla Model S, that's the big one. Ready for this? Goes from 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds.
Dude, yeah. And the G-forces are like, holy shit.
So when I went to California, I got to drive a Cobra, a Shelby Cobra at the Cobra factory.
That's a 71, right? The car, the year?
Yeah. But they're rebuilding them now.
Yeah, I saw one the other day. It said Shelby on the back of it. It was a Mustang.
Yeah. So the Shelby Cobra, this is the Cobra, the one from the song Spring Little Cobra from Jan and Dean.
Right.
It's a aluminum body.
From Jan and Dean, he says, like everyone remembers that. You know, that's
Jan
Brady.
It's on my greatest hits thing in my car.
Brought my Cobra down to the brought my Cobra down to the track. Hooked to the back of my Cadillac. Everyone there was waiting for me. There were plenty of Stingrays and XKEs. Anyway, so
load 16 tons and what do you get?
The Cobra has a 454 cubic inch engine in it, and the car weighs 1,400 pounds. So the car weighs 1,400 pounds. The engine is so big that when you sit in the driver's seat, the pedals are like 8 inches off to the left because of the transmission hump. They can't get the pedals in front of you.
Holy shit.
Everything is off to the left. So I get in the car and the guy, you know, he takes me out in the car and he's like, all right, let me show you what it does. So he says, are you ready for the Shelby Challenge? And I was like, he goes, you don't know what that is? I go, no. Takes out $100 bill.
If you don't shit your pants, you get it.
Puts it in the ashtray, right? It's like a little fold down ashtray on the dashboard.
Right.
And he goes, put your hands on your lap. And when I count to 3, if you can take the $100 bill, it's yours. And he goes, 1, 2, 3, he hits the gas and you get pinned to the seat. You can't even move your arms.
It's like the hellhole.
It's like a fighter jet.
Yeah.
So he goes,
that's how I felt in that Tesla.
He goes, do you want to drive? And I was like, no. And I got about 100 feet and I go, yeah, I got to. So I get in the car and he says, all right, the only thing I ask is make sure the wheel is straight because if you hit the gas, we're going to crash.
Did you put $100 bill in the thing to see if he could grab it?
Let me tell you something. I have never driven anything that fast in my life.
Yeah.
It's frightening.
My buddy had an NSX, an Acura NSX. And this is the fastest. I mean, I'm not a speed demon. I don't care. But he stepped on the gas. And it was like, you know, when you're like, if you're traveling down a tunnel and things going.
Yeah, I said
that's what it felt like. It was like so fast.
Do you guys remember the
No, we don't. I forgot that, man. So anyway, what I'm talking about, John.
Michael, no. I mean, John, remember the Chevy Vega?
Of course we remember. My buddy had a Chevy Vega. We used to cruise in a Chevy Vega.
My late brother-in-law, for whatever reason, had a 350 Cleveland engine. And I said, wouldn't it be really cool if I put this 350 Cleveland engine inside this Chevy Vega chassis?
Wouldn't it like fucking make the like?
Oh, he had to beef up the front suspension and everything.
Yeah.
And he said that car was the fastest thing he ever drove until he crashed into a ditch at one point. I wouldn't. I mean, he used to take his family.
That's like putting an airplane engine in a fucking Dodge Dart.
Exactly,
Why?
exactly. And you know that chassis is not meant to withstand. It's basically made out of what, tin foil. Those cars, forget it. But he did.
My buddy had
a
Chevy Vega, and we used to cruise around. Let me tell you something. You will not pick up women driving around in a Chevy Vega. You will not pick up women.
Well, maybe Joey Vega would, because Joey Vega
in a Chevy Vega. There you go.
They a friend of mine had a 1966 Chevelle Super Sport.
Great fucking car
with a 427 engine in it.
Oh damn.
And he had a 488 rear end, which I didn't even know what that meant at the time.
That's like me.
488 rear end. Yeah. A 488 rear end is for the drag strip.
Right.
So once you're at like 60 miles an hour, it seems like it has to be shifted like 3 more times. And he said to me, you want to drive it once? And I go, yeah. And it had one of these things called a Hearst.
So I was like, yeah.
It had like a Hearst mystery shifter in it, which means that it doesn't click in, it just kind of floats in. So you really never know what
gear you're in.
Oh,
so yeah. So he goes, all right, well, hit it. So I hit it first, boom, second. And then he goes, I flip it into third, and I go to him, I got my foot on the clutch. I don't know if I'm in third the way this thing shifts. And he goes, only way to find out is take your foot off the clutch.
Oh, shit.
So I take the foot off the clutch at like 50 miles an hour into first gear.
Oh.
And the car was like this.
Yeah, no,
like does a wheelie. All oil comes out the front scoop all over the windshield.
Yeah.
And then the car just sits there and goes.
Yeah,
by transmission.
The engine? No, the transmission, maybe.
I didn't blow anything, but it was like
I didn't blow anything. We just became close friends.
I just became close John. Friends. Jesus.
It was pretty bad.
So when I was at the Improv one time, this guy who I don't remember his name anymore, but it was just like this open micer, and he got super friggin' drunk. And I guess he'd driven me there, because why else would I be driving? And he says, Craig, you got to drive back. And he had a Porsche 911, and I'd never driven a car like that before. And that was the most powerful fucking car I'd ever driven. And it was pouring rain. I'm driving home on the Northern State Parkway or the Grand Central Parkway. I thought we were all gonna die, because I think I drove all the way home in second gear, and I was still doing like 60.
The thing about a Porsche, because I had one at one point, is I had a 911 whale tail. Is the fact that on a Porsche, it's all high end RPM. Like in my TR6, it's like it shifts at about 40,000. And a Porsche at 40,000, it just gets going. Yeah, because it redlines at about 8.
You got that limey car, right? You got to get rid of that. I don't want no limey cars.
Car.
No more limey cars.
What limey car? The Triumph?
He's got it. Yeah. Friggin'.
I remember when I
have two of them now.
When I was John will appreciate this. When I was
let's set one on fire.
When I was 4, my friend's father went through an early midlife crisis, and he had an Austin Healey, which was the coolest freaking car.
Don't even like break my heart with that. All right. What? When I was in high school, I was dating this girl, and she was really pretty, long blonde hair, loved her.
Her name was Austin.
Basically, I went to her house one
barely
day,
alive.
And her father said, "You like these little sports cars, right?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Come on, I got to show you something." So he takes me in the garage, and this is in 1968, and there's a 1966 Austin Healey 3000, silver gray with a red leather interior, and on the side panels, it was like a darker gray. It was like a gunmetal gray. And he said, "I bought this for my son for graduation. He's had it 6 months. He's ripped out 3 sets of mufflers." And he goes, "If you want," he goes, "I took it away from him. If you want it, It's yours for $1,800.
Jeez.
Which at the time, I mean, they were
Come on,
probably
Come on, John.
$2,500
Yeah.
to me. And when I was in high school, $1,800, he might have said $30,000.
Come on, man. That was your allowance. Who are you lying to?
So,
That was your weekly allowance if you mowed the lawn.
It's a magician. He had it in his
when
pocket.
I was buying my Triumph and I was looking at Austin Healey's because that was always like the dream car, a really bad one in really bad condition, we're running about 18 or 19,000.
Austin Healey.
Ones that
See, you guys are so different than me. I never had a dream.
Think I could fix up.
My dream car is like an old 50-something a Ford pickup truck, man. I like those old beautiful or 50s, 60s. It's like I got no desire for these muscle car, these speed. I mean, maybe a muscle car, but I just like trucks and big rough truck.
Yeah, if you ever drove the Triumph, you would feel differently. Even my son, when he drove the Triumph for the first time, he went, "Wow, I had no idea driving could be so much fun."
Hey,
it's like driving a go-kart with a
I drove a 1963 Diamond T truck. Those are the trucks that had no power steering. It's like the steering. The reason why truck drivers used to be really big dudes because only a big dude could turn the wheel. I drive for a scaffolding company, and that was my truck, friggin' Diamond T. Try driving one of those.
But so
in
Manhattan. He took us for ice cream, and I was sat like I don't think there was really a back seat in Austin Healey. At least I don't remember if there was.
No, it was like a little cutout.
That's where we were. We sat because I was 3 or 4. That's where I remember that. We went and got ice cream. That was it. Cool car though. I always thought it was really cool.
Had a good sound, like the Triumph, same sound.
Yeah,
I have a friend of mine that has one now. Beautiful.
He went that was definitely he was like 40, and
that's another thing about California is you do see plenty of classic, credible cars driving around here.
Right.
But that's just Jay Leno.
Well, I've actually seen Jay Leno. I've seen him many times.
Yeah,
when I lived in Burbank, he used to come up and down Hollywood because he takes his cars out now and then. I've seen him driving a Stanley Steamer.
Me too.
I've seen him in a few different cars. Matter of fact, he pulled up next to me once, and I forget what the hell he was in, but I was on my bike, and he looked up. He goes, "Hey, nice bike." I was like, "Thanks, Jay." And then it was when the car one time I saw him another time. Patty got out, ran over next to him. I got a picture of. He's just the nicest guy. If you run into him on the street, he couldn't be a nicer guy.
Yeah, Conan loves him too.
Conan.
I don't know.
I don't know why he did that, but
I know why I said it because Conan has a bone to pick with Leno, but that's a
what
different thing. Well, Conan really feels that Leno should have backed him up by A, not having a show at 10 o'clock when he debuted on the Tonight Show, and B, he should have said no when NBC asked him, "Hey, if we got rid of Conan, would you come back?" So he thought that Leno should have had his back and said, "No, it's Conan's show. Like, he'll work it out."
Listen,
so he resented it.
It's not Jay's first con. Everyone thinks that Letterman should have got the Tonight Show after Johnny. I mean, personally, that was my opinion. I thought Letterman should have got the Tonight Show. I don't think they should have gone with Jay. You know what I mean? It should have been the way the succession, the way it was supposed to be. It was, it should have been.
I'm looking at this poster hanging over my desk right now that says Sony University Farmingdale campus presents Jay Leno, the funniest comedian working today. Quote, David Letterman.
Well, that certainly has changed.
And it says special guest John Ferrantino, and he signed it, and he wrote to my special guest, "Fuck you, Jay."
Nice. You must have been funny then.
I didn't say he's not a nice guy. I mean, he's the nicest guy you can meet, Jay Leno.
I was watching some show. I don't remember what it was. It might. I don't know what it was. But anyway, they were doing something.
It was guy on guy action. You just don't want to say
it was a porn, and it was gay porn. Now I was watching this show, and these guys were struggling, and they said, "Hey, don't worry about it." They remember when Jay Leno started the Tonight Show? He started off slow, but look what happened. He got big and big. He became a sensation. And then one guy got really quiet. He goes, "Hey, but what if we're not Jay? What if we're Conan and Brian?" And they both go, "Oh shit," which I thought was really funny, but really unfair to Conan and Brian.
Yeah, really.
About
what else is going on in the world, man? There's got to be something else.
In the world,
once again, we started the show and didn't talk one iota of what we talked about, what we said we were going to talk about.
I know,
which was, I think we were going to talk about travel and things like that.
Oh yeah, so there's a new thing in traveling, right? There's
Yeah.
a new thing. Like if you see on your boarding pass,
right,
SSI,
social
SSI.
Yeah, it's a new level of security where they take you out of the line
right,
and it
beat the shit out of you.
just like you got to take everything out of your carry-on. You got to put everything through separately. Everything has to be swabbed.
Jesus.
What does it stand for?
Have you guys got that real ID yet?
I don't know.
No,
Did
I
you
don't.
get? You didn't get it
Which
because
one is that?
you're gonna. It's something you're gonna get on your driver's license. It's if
Yeah, I
you don't
got
get it, you won't be able to travel.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I
I got it
It's
too.
a
you know.
hologram. It's like a hologram.
Yeah, I know in it's a golden bear in California. I don't know.
I
what
gotta
it
go
is.
get it. I didn't do it during the pandemic, but I have to go get it.
Yeah, well, they
In
had said that-
Florida, the hologram is a COVID mask with a line through it.
with a line through it, no COVID.
Nice.
Hey man, you can't come here. And so now here's something I want to know, and I don't know, you're in Florida, but you're not in that part of Florida. Is it really that bad? I'm hearing all these stories about they can't get anyone to pick fruit, pick vegetables. They got no one to load and unload. It's just like they've scared off the migrant workers and things are rotting.
We're losing like $1 billion industry of citrus.
So it's real. This is a real thing.
Yeah, everything's rotting on the trees because of DeSantis decided that no migrants will be working in Florida, and it's a mess.
He really doesn't care what happens to Florida as long as he looks like he's a badass to get elected.
He's a fucking moron. He just wants to be Trumpy without the whatever. I don't know what.
Meanwhile, his poll numbers haven't because there's so many people every day getting into the Republican race.
Yeah,
that they say the only one that's hurting is his poll numbers, because Trump's poll numbers went down 10 points since the last indictment, and DeSantis they figured it would go up, but his hasn't moved at all.
You know who you got to watch out for? Chris Christie. I'm telling you,
I agree.
He's smart. He's an actual Republican.
They say that he's on less than single-digit numbers.
It's meaningless right now. I'm telling you, he's the guy. He's the guy you got to watch out for. He's smarter than all of them.
I wouldn't mind
smarter
him,
than all of them.
as long as it's not DeSantis or Trump. Chris
Christie is actually a reasonable. I mean, if there's gonna be anyone, I'm telling you, who has a shot at being a decent, good president, on the Republican side, it's Chris Christie. The other ones are
as long as he doesn't take his fat family to the beach and close the beaches.
Take his fat family to the beach because your son can't cover that much skin, you fat bastard.
Wow,
come on,
with fat shaming. That's more like us. It's about time. Come on.
No, remember what happened?
What do you own? Stock in sunscreen?
He closed all the beaches in Jersey.
Yes.
I know.
For COVID, and then there was a close-up of him and his family.
Was it COVID?
Why?
COVID.
You got a problem with that? I'm gonna go.
I remember somebody. They got a picture of him sitting in a beach chair, and and they cut it out and they started putting it everywhere as a meme.
John, you ever seen
one
him?
Was they put strings on it and they put him in the Macy's parade? That was
you ever seen him? You ever seen him in a bathing suit? You don't want to fucking be on the beach when Chris Christie's there, okay? You don't want to be. He did you a favor. He did that for you. He closed the beach.
Shaming.
You have to see him.
It's fun. Fat shaming. Chew some gum.
It's not fat shaming.
Yeah, we're fat shaming. But then again, I'm fat. I can do it.
I don't give a shit. I'll talk about anybody and anything. I'm tired of the fucking. You can't talk about this. You can't. I fucking talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about.
Yeah, if you fat shame somebody, somebody listening is clutching their pearls right now, and it's
no, because they can't find their pearls. They're too fat.
Somebody's clutching the pearls right now. It's probably Lindsey Graham. Thank you. I'm Hero Week. That was a joke. I was calling him effeminate.
So wait, what's the story now? I mean, I know we don't get political, but
what
now
do you mean we don't get political?
They censored.
No, they're trying to censor Adam Schiff.
Why?
Yeah, I think it went through yesterday.
Well, it's meaningless anyway. A censor is just meaningless.
because of the first Trump impeachment.
Because he had the nerve to be on the committee to fucking invest, whatever. It's all
Jim Jordan.
Honestly, man, the whole fucking Congress, the Senate, the House, they all need to be like flushed out like diarrhea.
Not
gonna
happen.
Be put in with new fucking. You can't find an honest person
Not gonna
anymore.
happen.
There's too much power and there's too much money. The whole system is fucking corrupt.
I think it's so funny when Republicans don't want to do anything about healthcare, and they have the best healthcare in the world.
Yeah, of course.
Once they serve in the Senate or that.
That's because they have all these insurance companies shoving money in their pockets to vote with their agenda.
Well, and this is. I mean, I'm sorry, but some people are so stupid now. And this is a family member. I have a family member who he said we're arguing about Obamacare. And he said, I don't have Obama. Like he said, they got to fucking cancel, get rid of that Obamacare bullshit. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do? He goes, I don't have Obamacare. I got the Health Act. What's Obama? What's the official name of the
Marketplace?
No, the real,
Marketplace.
No, it's called the, whatever the real name of the fucking thing. It's called the something act, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And he goes, I got that. And I go, you fucking idiot. That's Obamacare.
Right.
Yeah, which you got to get it all through what they call a marketplace.
Yeah, but
the Affordable Care Act.
The Affordable Care Act. That's what he said. He goes, I don't have Obamacare. I got the Affordable Care Act. And I'm like, you are a fucking moron. You are a fucking moron. And this is a family member.
Yeah.
Well, I have Obamacare, and when I get a cold, Michelle comes over and gives me some chicken soup.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's Obamacare.
You know what? I'm changing I'm going to become a pacifist from now on. Anyone pisses me off, I'm just going to pass a fist through their skull. I'm a pacifist. I'll get upset about nothing. I'm just going to pass a fist through your fucking skull.
That's a pacifist for you.
I don't know. I think I had too much coffee today, guys.
You think?
Yeah, we were talking about cars before. Do you guys remember like learning how to drive a stick shift for the first time?
Oh yeah. Yes, I do.
I have a story about mine. Do you, John?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I figured since you brought it up, so
I do too. I did, my man.
You all have stories. Who wants to go first?
You go first.
My father. And this is.
I'm still laughing about your father wearing shoes that's two sizes too small.
You think I'm
so when
kidding?
He took them off, his feet felt good.
My father, because he loved the way it felt when he took them off. He was just fucking nuts, man. This is the truth. He taught me. He said and this was his high opinion of me because both of my brothers, as you know, are accountants, and me, I'm whatever. So he goes, you got to get your license when you're 17 because you're going to fucking drive a truck. That's all you're ever going to do is you're ever going to fucking drive. All right, Dad, thanks. I'm glad that, that you have that much faith and whatever. So he takes me out to teach me how to drive on the stick shift. And that's the thing is, of course, the first thing he does is go on a hill. You know what I mean? And,
nice.
So put it in. So you got to learn that friction point. And my father was not the kind of guy who should have ever been teaching anything because this is my father teaching you how to do something, right? He goes, all right, put it in first. Okay, now let the clutch, and it's like, okay, stay calm, stay fucking calm. Put the thing in, That's my father. Anything he ever taught me. You know what I mean? Was like, okay, no, you'll start off calm. Okay. So you want to do is you want to press the clutch down. You want to put it in first gear and then let the clutch up easy. And again, I'm starting to do it. Thanks, Dad. How could you learn anything under that kind of pressure,
Well, your dad, actually, my dad wasn't anything like your dad, but I think my dad can one-up him because I had a 69 Camaro and my dad made me sell it because he thought I was going to die in it. Because he made me sell it.
That must have been awesome.
But he went out and helped me buy my next car because I was going to college now. And the car he helped me buy was a 1971 Volkswagen. It looked like a fastback, but it looked like a small station wagon.
Rabbit?
No, it wasn't a Rabbit. It was a 71 Volkswagen. It looked like a station wagon.
What was the name of it?
I don't remember. And I had a stick. And I go, how do I learn how to drive? Dad, I don't know how to drive a stick. He goes, get in the car. I'm going to get in the car. We already paid for it. He goes, now you're going to drive it home. I go, how? He goes, you'll figure it out. And I bucked
Yeah.
I bucked and I stalled and I jolted all the way freaking home. And by the time I got home, I pretty much figured out. I just think my dad was in the car and back of me just laughing his fucking balls off. I think he was, man.
Oh,
That's why basically it's like throwing the kid in the water who can't swim.
Yeah, but that's fucking awful. That is fucking awful. That's not the way to, it's like your father, my father. Not the way to fucking teach anyone anything. You want to traumatize somebody, yes. But
I learned from that girl I was going out with, whose father was trying to sell me that.
You got taught how to drive by a chick, John?
Yeah.
Here's how you
John. You are progressive.
On a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
And but I'll tell you, my daughter,
Lindsay, who we love you, Lindsay.
Well, listen to your movie, Lindsay.
Was trying to learn how to drive a stick, and I took her out, and I had like one of those little Hyundais, and I took her out, and we were driving, and she did really well, driving for a couple of hours actually, and we went to pull into the driveway, and as we pulled into the driveway, she says, "Which one's the clutch and which one's the brake again?"
Oh shit!
So with that, I had to yank up the emergency brake, pull it out of gear, and we stopped before going through the garage door.
So I thought maybe she burned out the clutch because she wasn't using it or something. Maybe.
No, but she goes,
and to this day, I don't know about you guys, but to this day, it's still my favorite way to drive a car.
I've had many shift cars and I enjoyed them. The last one I had actually was a Jeep. And it wasn't the shifting. I don't mind, but it was a rough ride, and I got rid of it because it was a kid.
This is the first.
But it was one of the open Jeeps that you could take the top off of and go,
nice.
Off-roading.
I love Stick. Stick is great.
Yeah, they're fun.
This is the first automatic I've ever had, and you know what? When you get in traffic, there's nothing better than an automatic.
Now they're starting to make cars again. I heard they're starting to make cars that. It's an automatic, but it reacts as if it's a shift or something.
Like a paddle shift?
No, Chris's car got that. The new
but
maybe it was you that was telling me about it, John.
Even out here, I had a 2003 Volkswagen Beetle, one of the new Beetles, and it was a stick. Yeah. And even on these hills, I had no, like you said, finding that friction point.
Yeah.
I had no problem with any of that. In traffic, I found a way where I didn't have to shift every 12 seconds. It was great.
Same thing on a motorcycle. That's your most important thing to learn is your friction zone.
And here's the other thing, though. And this is something which
that's because a Volkswagen is so underpowered.
Well, it could be that too. But here's the thing that nobody knows. Now, this is really important, especially if you're in Southern California. I don't know about Florida, but car theft out here is incredibly high. But if you have a stick, if you have a standard shift, the odds of your car being stolen are very low because kids today don't know how to drive it.
No, not even kids. Even people our age, most people don't know how to drive.
I don't see many adults stealing cars. Do you?
How long? Well, that's true. But how long? There've been automatics for the last 40? 40. I don't even know. You'd have to go out of your way to get a standard shift car now. Do they even make them? If you go to a dealership and you go, I'm looking for a manual shift.
I paid less for my Volkswagen because nobody would buy it. I go, I'll take that. And I go, oh, it's stick shift. He goes, yeah, it's supposed to be 9,000, but we'll give it to you for 7,500. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Whenever you buy a stick shift car, it's always about $1,000 or $1,500 less than an automatic.
Yeah.
But I had a Hyundai Santa Fe, the last one that I had before this one, and that was a stick. And they had to get it from another dealership. And
well, I was not too long. I was going to buy a pickup. I wanted a pickup truck, and I found one at this incredible price. And it was a shift, and that I don't mind, but it didn't have air conditioning. And I'm like, you know what? I live in a friggin' desert. I cannot live with a car without an air conditioner.
You ever seen
I don't mind shifting gears, but.
Have you ever seen those things they used to put on on trucks?
Yeah, that outside thing that pushes.
Yeah, it looks like a jet engine.
Yeah.
Put ice in it.
Yeah, it's pretty inventive. I mean, before there was such a thing as air conditioning.
That's big in Florida when you go to the car shows. All those old trucks have those. They're pretty cool looking.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
They have a thing that looks almost like a jet engine, right?
I understand that.
Maybe
it's a little container.
Yeah, they're about maybe 24 inches long, would you say? Maybe the
Yeah, it
round
hooks
of
up
like
to the
a
window somehow,
like
right?
a 45 record diameter. And then there's like a clip on it, and you put it in the window and you clip it up, and there's a hose that comes into the window.
Yeah,
And
so
then you put
fill
like
it
a
with
block
ice
of ice in there. And
so
when
that
you
the wind goes
drive,
over the ice and then comes in through the hose and cools off your car.
Cools off your car.
That was the first air conditioning in cars.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
It's like a swamp cooler, I guess.
So I did
Okay.
something I don't normally do yesterday, man. I smoked me a cigar.
Nice.
I just out of the, I had some in the garage. Patty had bought me some Monte Cristos, and I just felt like, sometimes it's just a cool thing to reward yourself with. Like, I don't do it habitually. I have a couple cigars a year, but I just sit back.
I have a couple in the refrigerator now. It's making me sound good. When my son got married in Costa Rica at the cocktail party, he had a cigar roller.
Nice.
You would think with my penchant for all things oral, but I hate cigars.
I
don't like them. I've never liked. I don't like cigars. I never have. I was
Well,
a smoker too.
Listen, it's not everyone's. I smoked cigarettes for years and years. I mean, I thank God I quit in 2000 after my father died of cancer, lung cancer and esophageal cancer. I quit, but I don't think a couple cigars a year is going to hurt anybody.
No.
So I have CNN on with the sound off, and they just have a banner here that says the debris assessed to be from the sub's external body, so it exploded.
Wow.
Imploded.
Or was exploded, imploded. But
it's a shame. Listen, I don't wish that on anyone. But I guess you're right. It's like when you're doing something inherently dangerous, somewhere inside, the possibility exists.
I don't know.
The shame is there's the one man on there took his 19-year-old son.
I know, really.
So a family just lost, father and son. That's pretty terrible.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's just hope that it happened when they lost contact and they weren't sitting on the bottom of the ocean suffocating to death.
Oh,
that they died immediately.
If it happened that first hour and a half on the way down, that's it. It would have been over.
Well, if you're on the bottom of the ocean and it explodes like that, you're gone in a second anyway. So that would be probably more merciful.
No, but it's not that. I mean, it could have happened last night after not breathing since Sunday.
That's it. You never know.
Well. This is an awfully nice way to end the show. Sorry about that, but I just saw it come up, so I thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, thanks for bringing us down, Craig.
It's 25. I know. It's 25 too. Did we start early?
I don't know. I
don't know.
Yeah, we did start early. We started way early.
We started early.
I think we started, but it's okay. I hear that sub though was actually a stick shift, so that makes the whole thing a lot clearer. So.
It was a stick shift.
It was a stick.
That's what happened. The guy was trying to teach his son how to drive it.
And he's like, get on the clutch.
More clutch. Oh my God, his vein used to stick out in his head. My father, I would go, how the fuck are you not having a stroke now? Jesus. He would he just had that rage, everything. Anytime he got mad.
When my dad was teaching me how to drive, I was on Newbridge Road in Levittown, and I had to make a U-turn to go to my house because it was an island. And I would make the U-turn, and I would go, I would do it, and my dad would go, nope, that's wrong. I go, what did I do wrong? He goes, it's wrong. That's right. And he would never tell me what I did wrong. And every time I did it, nope, did it wrong. And what it was is I was making the U-turn, and I was going into the right lane instead of the left lane. And he said I was doing that wrong. And finally he explained to me, you're supposed to make the U-turn into the same lane. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me that? He goes, well, I wanted you to figure out yourself. I'm like, what? When I wrapped around a tree? What?
All right.
I know he was your dad and everything, and you loved him and all that, but he was kind of fucking a little bit of something wrong with the guy. I don't know.
What?
I'm not saying there's something fucking wrong with a guy who tells you that it doesn't tell you what you're doing wrong.
He just thought I should figure it out. That's all.
You could fucking die doing that, but don't worry about it. You do it until
you look into the gun with your finger on the trigger.
That's great.
You'll figure it out.
He's not really teaching you. He's just
he threw me into the standard shift car without telling me how to do it the same way, but he wanted me to figure it out.
I understand now why you're so fucked up.
I needed that answer for you. I appreciate that.
I have kind of a funny car story. So in 19... in 19.
No,
I guess,
or
I'm
is
trying to figure
it?
out-
John's trying to figure out if it's 19 or 18.
It was like 1972, and surfboards went from like 10 foot, 9.6, 10-foot range down to like 6.5 foot, 7 foot.
The big
Shortboards.
surfboard shrinking.
Right.
Yes, we all
Right.
remember that well.
So it was the short
Cowabunga era.
So I had at the time a 1968 Chevy Impala convertible.
Nice car. Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
Powder blue, white
what
top,
a
beautiful.
what a nice car.
So it was the Chickmobile. Anyway, so I had the car, I had the surfboard in the back of the seat. So the surfboard basically only stuck above the back seat about 6 inches, right? So I'm coming down the Meadowbrook Parkway and I get pulled over by a cop. And he pulls over and he goes, I'm giving me a ticket for sporting equipment sticking out of the back of your car or surfboard. And I turn to the cop and I go, listen, nothing illegal here. I go, the New York State law is sporting equipment can't stick above the natural roof line of the car more than 36 inches. And I knew this because I had to drive all the time with surfboards.
Right.
So the cop goes, we'll see about that. And he takes out his nightstick and he puts it on the curve of the surfboard, not the height. And he goes, this is 30 inches and you're above that. And I go, sir, you just measured the hypotenuse of the angle.
The hypotenuse of the angle. Then he hit you with the club. Tell me he didn't fucking hit you with
And
the
he
club.
was like,
I'm
what?
so lost. I'm so lost.
The hypotenuse of the
I
angle.
go, it's the hypotenuse of the angle. It's not the heat. I go, it's not the height. The height would be the shortest distance. The hypotenuse would be the longest. So anyway, he goes, well,
that
yeah.
came
Tell
when
it
I
to
was
the,
a kid. Hungry
tell it to the
hypotenuses.
He goes, tell it to the judge. I go, all right, see you in court. So I go to court, and the judge calls me up and says, we have a thing right here about a surfboard extending the thing.
Hypotenuse.
And I go, Your Honor, the car is in the parking lot with the surfboard in it with the roof closed. Well, it clearly says right here that the surfboard was hanging out of the back of the closed window of the convertible. And I said, Your Honor, that would be impossible because the car's in the parking lot. If you'd like to go take a look, the back window is fixed glass and doesn't open. And I said, and with that, he measured the hypotenuse of the angle instead of the height. And the judge goes,
And then the judge hit you.
Now the judge goes, looks at the cop, and he goes, do you know what the hypotenuse of an angle is? And the cop goes, nope. And he says, well, this is a guy that obviously paid attention in class. He's 100% right, not guilty. And he goes, well done, and thank you for learning in school.
And then he beat the hypotenuse out of me.
And then John thanked Matlock, who was there with him. Thank you.
Another time I got a ticket, and the guy was just going on and on, the DA, so long that in the middle of the trial, the judge sits up and goes, oh. And the DA turns to the judge and goes, am I boring you, Your Honor? And he goes,
oh, shit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh, man. I know I had to go to traffic court one time, and the guy before I was going to plead guilty with an explanation because it was a whole stupid thing. And the guy before me pleaded guilty with an explanation. And so the judge goes, yeah, I'm still going to find you guilty. You still want to explain to me? And the guy goes, no. And I said, so I go up and he goes, how do you plead? I said, guilty. You know, I don't want to even give you the
usually
satisfaction.
At traffic court, they say 100 times, there are two pleas, guilty, not guilty. There is no such thing as guilty with an explanation. How do you plead? Oh, guilty with an explanation, sir.
But next time I have to go to court, though, I'm just going to go hypotenuse.
So Bill Jay actually told me he won a trial once using my hypotenuse theory. It was about the steepness of a handicap ramp.
We call it the Ferrantino effect.
So listen to this. I was there once, and the guy goes, this was in like 75 or something. And the guy's like, I charges driving an unregistered vehicle, no license plate, no insurance. He's reading all the stuff. And the guy gets up and goes, Your Honor, I do not need a registration or plates on this car. It is a collector's car. So he goes, well, even collector's cars have to have plates and registrations and insurance. He goes, no, This is a classic. It is a collector car. So he says, and he goes on and on and on. And he finally says, what kind of car is this? And he goes, a 75 Dodge Dart.
What the
The car was like 3 years old.
Uh,
Well, on that note, we are at
Yes.
the time, but maybe you want to mention, speaking of the Ferrantino effect, we have a friend of the show, Michael.
Yeah, next week we have a
Carbonaro.
really good friend, one of the original Boston comics, Joe Yannetti. He had a movie. He has
That's not what I said.
He had what?
That's not what I said. I said Michael Carbonaro.
Oh yeah. Well, we can get to him.
Oh, okay.
We'll get
So
to all
anyway,
those
but we have a
things.
really good friend of ours coming on next week, special guest Joe Yannetti, and Michael Carbonaro, our buddy from the show, is
That's
still
right.
at the Rio,
Yeah.
In Las
And,
Vegas.
and apparently shows are doing pretty well. They're kind of sold out all the time.
At the Penn and
because of
Teller
us.
Theater in the Rio.
Because
Penn
of
and Teller.
us.
And if you tell them that you're a friend of the Big Bad Broadcast, they'll kick you out. So don't say
That's
that.
right.
But
Don't
just
say
go
that.
there
Just keep it
and
quiet.
see the show because it's incredible.
And remember,
Yeah,
if
so
you
the-
want to ask us any kind of questions or find out any information or anything, write us at Gmail, the Big Bad Broadcast at gmail.com. Come on, we want to hear from you.
Yes.
Yes, and Michael will be at the Rio Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every weekend until July 2nd.
Awesome. We're
And the
almost
show
there.
is at 8:00. And the name of the show is
Final show.
Lies on Stage.
Lies
Live
on
on
stage.
stage. Excellent. Go see it.
Which is better than the name I recommended for him, but I said, with your sister's tits. But what are you gonna do? I thought, who wouldn't go see a show called Your Sister's Tits? But
My sister. My
Michael has
sister
a lot
would.
of class, and he would never do that. So,
All my friends wouldn't give
all
a-
right, I gotta get out of here.
All right, me too.
All righty.
Peace. Check us out
Talk
on the
to you later.
podcast playground, Spotify,
Anywhere you
Apple
pod.
Podcasts, wherever you
Anywhere.
pod, we're there. Okay, look us up, make comments, watch the show, listen to the show. We're gonna kick your ass.
Wow.
Wow.
So
How do you argue with that?
I'm
I
getting a
had too
little
much coffee.
aroused.
All right. Well, goodbye, Mike. Goodbye,
Peace.
Craig.
Bye,
Later.
guys. See you next week.
Bye.
All right.